We have Dr. Deval Kariya from Open MedDev. I see you're already in the presentation mode, so please go ahead, Dr. Deval, and take charge. I think you're on mute, Deval. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
We can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah. Just if we could keep the presentation part of this to 7 minutes or lesser, that will be really helpful.
Sure. Is my screen visible?
Not yet. We can see the screen now. Please go ahead.
Okay, so thank you for having me here, and thank you to Dr. Rakesh for inviting us, to present our work. I am Deval Kariya from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, part of the Department of CPDM, where we work on affordable medical devices. And our presentation today is on an affordable open-loop insulin pump for type 1 diabetic patients in resource-constrained settings. So Dr. Manish Arora and I are the co-founders of the product, and we've been working on it since the last 3-4 years. And over the last couple of years, we've received support from BIRAC to take our project forward as a startup. And we've set up partnerships with Vinyas Innovative Technologies, also MSME that works on medical devices and manufacturing of medical devices. And we have set up a small team that includes a regulatory lead and our electronics lead. So I think everyone is obviously aware of what type 1 diabetes is, and it's basically a condition where insulin is required to sustain life. However, coming to the core problem in the Indian scenario is that most insulin pumps are unaffordable for patients. They cost roughly 2 to 2.5 lakhs, and that makes them out of reach for most patients, because that's roughly the 5 to 7 times the median income of a family. So our goal is to bring down the cost of such an insulin pump so that it is accessible to a large portion of patients in the Indian scenario. So right now, there are a total of roughly 2.3 lakh T1DM patients in India, and only less than 2% are on insulin pumps. This is in contrast to Western markets, where on an average between 15 to 35% are on insulin pumps. So a large part of this can be attributed to the cost of such a device, both recurring and fixed costs. The other larger market that is present, which can also benefit from insulin pumps, is the type 2 diabetes market that has high insulin resistance. And because of these, because of high insulin resistance, insulin pumps can benefit them as well. Now, coming to what makes current devices so expensive. So most devices right now work on the syringe pump principle. This is similar to any syringe pump device that you find in hospitals, just that this is miniaturized so that the patient can carry the device themselves. However, as part of miniaturization, they make use of something known as a micro motion set, which basically is a very small motor and a gearbox, and that roughly costs more than 1 lakh, and that adds to the primary cost of a device. Our patent pending mechanism basically allows for a acceptable compromise in the size of the device, and that brings down the cost by distributing the speed reduction that we require into multiple stages. So basically, we allow for some size increase. We don't go with high-end miniaturization, but at the same time, we are able to meet all the clinical requirements of the device. We have also attempted to make it compatible with the open API system so that patients can use the device in a closed loop along with a CGM sensor. So far, we've followed industry standard design documentation, and we have our ISO 13485 setup is underway. We have undertaken comprehensive risk analysis and risk management as well. Our results of the accuracy testing of the device were recently reported in the ATTD conference. And as you can see, they are compatible to the Medtronic insulin pump, and both in terms of basal as well as bolus. These are some photographs of our device prototype. This is a comparison of our insulin pump with the Medtronic Pi30G, which is one of the few pumps available in the Indian market. Currently, we are aiming for a prototype BOM cost of 40,000 rupees. Please keep in mind, this is a BOM cost, not the actual selling price. So it may increase from this point. We are also trying to make this device compatible with an open APS system so that patients can use the device in a closed loop. And our key proposition for the patients is roughly a 70% reduction in fixed costs. Currently, Medtronic MiniMed is the only player in the Indian market. And compared to the Western markets, where there are at least 7 other major players, the high cost of insulin pumps is expected to hamper growth even in these markets. So the need for an affordable insulin pump is not just relevant to India, but also in Western markets where adoption is stagnated because of the high cost of adoption. So particularly in the Indian scenario, the increased awareness, the rising number of patients, and lack of options for the patients are the primary drivers for adoption of insulin pumps. Clinically acceptable delivery accuracy at a fraction of the cost of other commercially available devices is the core USP of our system. Our target customers are T1DM patients in India to begin with, and then T2DM patients that suffer from significant insulin resistance. We also, as I mentioned, want to make it compatible with open APS, and this has been validated. This requirement has been validated by interactions with multiple stakeholders within the system, who are keen on finding an affordable solution that can work with their CGMs and open APS algorithms. We are also attempting to make the pump design catering specifically to Indian patients in terms of having local language support and remote controls for discrete delivery because of the taboo associated with the disease. At this point, we would like to reiterate the need we are trying to attempt. A clinically relevant treatment is inaccessible for patients because they are unable to afford it. And this is what we are attempting to address. Thank you for your time. We have additional data and slides available for any discussions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deval. Very inspiring and interesting. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Do we have any questions from the panel and faculty members?
Yeah, Tushar, if I can.
Tushar,
yeah. So Deval, congratulations to you first for thinking of working on this particular aspect, because insulin pumps are actually beyond imagination for majority of Indian patients, and you are at least working on that. I'm just keen to understand what is this stage right now. Where have you reached? Is it a prototype only? And are there any hurdles? Like, are you lacking funds? Are you looking mentorship, or what is the status right now of the project?
So currently, we've received support from IRAC via the big grant, and we've been working on developing our prototype. So one of the earlier hurdles that we were facing was adherence to these international standards in terms of safety and essential performance. So we are at the stage where we have been able to address those standards. And we have an animal trial planned towards the end of this year to establish confidence, although it's not required, but to establish confidence in the device, we have an animal trial planned. So we have support up till then, but we are looking to raise further grants or apply to further grants to continue our work. So we do have a fully functional prototype ready that we have tested in terms of accuracy. And we also have the prototype that is conforming to all these international standards and support for the animal trial. But yes, beyond that, we are looking to raise some grants and funds to continue our work.
And secondly, in insulin pumps, the cost of insulin pump is one issue. The other issue is the disposables are also very costly.
Yes,
the monthly cost is very high. So are you looking at that also, or doing something for that?
At the moment, we are using Medtronic infusion sets because those are the only ones available in the Indian market. But a pump, in that sense, is modular. It can be compatible with any infusion set as long as we are able to find an affordable one. So we are in talks with companies like Convatec and other companies that manufacture infusion sets. But we are open to talking to these companies so that indigenous infusion sets can also be made that can bring down the overall recurring costs as well.
So just want to tell you that this DTEC is a group which actually is formed with this goal itself, that we should help the startups who come up with some innovative solutions for Indian people. In case you need any help, just feel free to reach out to DTEC.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
I will reach out to you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.